All right, this is Jeff Zimmerman with FightNews.com. I'm with Alex Rincon, undefeated super welterweight, 8-0, 6 knockouts, one of Golden Boy Promotions' rising stars. How you doing, Alex?
I'm good. Thank you.
So you're in camp right now with your brother George out in Maryland under Lamont Roach. How's camp going?
Camp is great. We've been pushing ourselves to the limit every day. Been working hard. A lot of running, a lot of sparring, great sparring going on. This camp is going really well.
So you're a tall, I would say, super welterweight, 6'2".
Yeah.
Any issues making weight? You got a pretty lean frame.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty easy. Like I'm here making weight, eating whatever I want, really eating clean, obviously, but I can, eat, or like if I crave something, I can have it. My weight's really good, so I've never had any trouble with weight, even in the amateurs.
Okay, how long when you were in the amateurs, what weight did you fight at?
I fight at 165.
Okay, so you came down as a pro.
Yeah, I had a good friend in our gym that he was the same weight, so I was always sparring bigger guys anyway. So I was like, you know what, I might as well just fight at 65, so we wouldn't have, we could take 2 people from our team. So that's why for me, I just moved up to 65. But I was always like eating at the weigh-ins compared to everybody else, spitting and stuff to make weight.
It's kind of the Sean Porter way, the Porter way, because he was like 65 in the amateurs, I believe, and obviously welterweight, and I think he might have been crazy. 140.
Man, I don't know. I didn't even know he was that. I didn't even know he fought at 65 in the amateurs.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that, isn't it, for his size? But he's kind of he's kind of built like a bull. So
yeah.
But let me ask you, you're fighting on a big card Saturday, August 14th, back in your hometown, Frisco, Texas. It's at the Ford Center at the Star, and you're fighting under another Texan, Virgil Ortiz versus the Mean Machine.
Yeah.
From talking to your brother George, and I've seen sparring. I believe you guys have all sparred each other. What are your thoughts on Virgil and watching his rise from the amateurs to where he's at now?
It's just crazy to, because growing up, we were pretty cool, and I used to stay at his place and stuff, real close with his dad and his mom. And it's just crazy because I still see him as Virgil, the young Virgil, and we all still feel like young, we're all young at heart. And it's just crazy to see where he's at now. He's just very poised and mature. He's has a good head on his shoulders. So it's just crazy to see where he's at as Virgil the person, but to see him as as a fighter is just crazy. I'm just really proud of him, and he deserves it.
What is it like being in the ring with him?
Man, it's I actually enjoyed it. He's very sharp, very you could just tell he's always setting something up. He's looking at everything, so he's just kind of like collecting all that data, and he's just kind of watching and setting something up. He's very quick with his twitches, so he'll try to set things up with little feints, and if you bite on one of them, he knows what he's about to set up. So you just kind of have to what I'm saying, know his game plan and all that. But he's Virgil is where he's at for a reason.
Do you learn a lot from him when you get in the ring with him?
Yeah, we've only sparred once. We only sparred this one last time. I had some sparring, and then I ended up jumping in with him. They wanted to do some more rounds, so me and my brother ended up helping him out. But yeah, it was I enjoyed it a lot, and I did learn some things, and then his dad too, talked to me a little bit, so it was cool to be in there and work with him.
So you're fighting on this card with your brother now. You fought on Virgil's card October 2019 in Grand Prairie. It was kind of a homecoming fight for Virgil, if I recall. You were showcased on that card as well. Then you fought on Ryan Garcia's card to open up the year at American Airlines Center. Now back on Virgil Ortiz's card. Do you ever just think to yourself, this is crazy? Like I'm fighting on some of the biggest cards out there with some of the best young fighters.
Yeah, it's obviously it's a great experience to kind of just see all these fighters and all of us obviously growing, being under the same promotions, just seeing every fight that we all step up to. But it's great to being around all that talent. It's the energy is kind of contagious. So I enjoy it, but obviously at the end of the day, I just focus on what I'm supposed to do, and I don't really pay attention to much fighters after on the card, except unless it's my teammates. But other than that, I just go out there and just kind of focus on the job. Most of the time, there's, especially my first fights, I would go and there'd be some big fights, and I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm gonna go eat. Like I wouldn't even stay for the main. I would just leave and go eat with my family. You know, get the job done and go.
You're built differently. You're not into all that. I don't know what you call it, but
Yeah.
that's cool. You just do your
Yeah.
thing, and what's best for you, and you move on.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Talk about your brother, though. I know I've interviewed your brother before. Obviously, I interviewed him a couple days ago, and you guys are fighting on the same card. And I asked him about that, and he said that it's a little nerve-wracking because, you know, also depending on who comes out first. You and your brother are very close, I believe, even best friends. Talk about the relationship with your brother.
Man, me and him are super close. It's just crazy to think, like, he said it the other day, just kind of like, it's crazy to think of anyone that has a closer relationship that me and him have. You know, growing up, we were always very close. We've never had issues. We're never brothers to, like, there's brothers that would fist fight and like get in arguments and fight each other. Like, people, man, how could you do that? You know, that's your brother, that's your own blood. And, you know, our relationship is something different. We care for one another. We always look out for one another. You know, our relationship is just, you know, very unique. So it is a little nerve-wracking just because, you know, we obviously believe in one another. It's just like, no, like you want to watch them fight and you're like, oh, like, oh, do this, do that. And you get all tense and whatnot. But, you know, we believe in one another. So we know the other person can do the job, but it's obviously like who comes first. Like, damn, I kind of want to fight first. So, you know, I don't have to worry about that, but, you know, I know he's going to handle business and so am I.
And you come from a fighting family, right? I mean, your dad, I don't know, did he box or was he just a trainer, or what's the situation there?
My grandfather was professional in Mexico. They're from like Linares, Monterrey area. And then my dad did some amateur, I think there's some amateur fights. I don't know how many. And then he decided to focus on my brother when he had my brother. When him and mom had my brother, he started to just train my brother, take him to the gym, focus on that. And then, you know, I started out not wanting to box, and then time went on, and, you know, I'd either do basketball or boxing. I just kept going back and forth after basketball season and go to boxing. Just kept doing that until I graduated high school, and I just stuck with boxing afterwards.
So you essentially joined the family business after high school.
Yeah. I pretty much had no choice. Yeah.
That's great. You're fighting a guy. If I'm correct, Sanny Duversonne, 11-3, 2 draws, 8 knockouts out of Miami, Florida. Do you know anything about him, or what's the story there?
Yeah, we watched film on him. We watched film and stuff, and we're just kind of like picking up the game plan and everything like that. I know like some of his last fights. I know some of the people that he's fought. I don't know them personally, but I know the names. But, you know, we just kind of watch the things he does, you know, just like every fighter, you know, just break down the game plan and watch film, and then, you know, add it to the toolbox and you know, do that on fight day.
Yeah, and I recall because I was at the show at American Airlines when you're on the Ryan Garcia card, and I know the guy you fought was real rugged, if I recall.
Yeah, that guy was. Yeah.
So you really got to adapt in there, right? I mean, because it could be a slick boxer, or it could be someone who's just coming to rough you up.
Yeah, and that's what that guy was really trying to do. I mean, he even told me after the fight, he was like, "You had me hurt multiple times, and I just kept doing that so you wouldn't stop me," and blah blah. So I mean, the guy was a dirty fighter, but at the end of the day, it's the hurt business, and you got to do what you got to do in there to survive or win. You know.
Yeah, so let's talk about your career a little bit. As I mentioned, you're 8-0, 6 knockouts, one of Golden Boy's rising young stars. What are your plans with Golden Boy? Do you guys have something mapped out over the next couple of years? Maybe looking for a small title. What are you guys trying to accomplish over the next couple of years?
To be honest, I mean, I just leave that up to my manager. You know, he does you know, all that. Obviously, me and him communicate when that time comes around, but you know, that time is coming close. So, I mean, I'm excited for that moment whenever that time does come. But all I know is, you know, whatever my manager puts in front of me, I take it, you know, step by step, fight by fight.
And what about you personally, like from just the fighting standpoint, where you're at? Do you feel like, God, in a year, you know, you're seeing all these young guys, you know, early 20s, mid 20s fighting for world titles. Do you feel like that could be you in the next year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Just again, depends on who they put in front of me, how I handle it. You know, it's all according to like how you perform and how things go, and you know, things like that. And obviously their resume, et cetera, et cetera. So it just depends on like, you know, how each fight goes and who we fight and all that stuff. So, you know, I know Robert Diaz has, you know, he talked to me after my brother's fight, and you know, he has good plans for me and my brother. So, you know, I know when he says it, you know, he means it. So, you know, Robert's a man of his word, and so is my manager.
Absolutely. And Robert Diaz is, for those that don't know, matchmaker of Golden Boy, one of the best in the business, one of the best guys in the sport, no doubt. Yeah. So you're in good hands there. Let's talk about another guy who was once the king of boxing, who carried boxing for several years, was the face of boxing. Your promoter, the Golden Boy himself, Oscar De La Hoya. He is fighting, not an exhibition, September 11th, but in a real fight against Vitor Belfort. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I think that's good. I'm happy to see he's doing something that obviously brings him, you know, happiness, what he loves to do. I don't even really know the other guy. I think I heard his name once. I forgot. But I mean, it's good for him, you know, stay out there and just not, I guess, not being in trouble and stuff like that. Just going out there and doing what he loves to do, staying in the gym. Because I feel like whenever, you know, a lot of fighters like Mike Tyson, like Floyd Mayweather, people that obviously return to the sport and always are around it, boxing's always gonna be a part of you. And you know, I feel like it's hard. I think that's why a lot of fighters have trouble letting go of the sport, because they allow that to identify them. That ends up becoming their identity, and they don't know how to live. Some people don't know how to live life after sport, knowing what they feel empty, you know? So sometimes that is their way of feeling alive and feeling good enough, you know? So if that's, you know, his way of doing it, then that's great. You know, that's a good way to do it. Some people find it with different things. Some people go golfing, some people spend time with their family, but I feel like that's Oscar's way of, you know, still feeling like, hey, I'm still doing this and I still run Golden Boy. I think that's his way of doing it. So that's good for him.
Well, what's it like? And that was well said. I would agree with that 100%. What's it like fighting under Oscar De La Hoya? Again, we got the Olympics going on. He was a gold medalist, multi-time world champion, again, carried the sport, Hall of Famer. A legend, definition of a legend. What's it like fighting under a guy like Oscar?
Well, we grew up watching his fights all the time. My dad would take us to like these like restaurants, and we'd go with, you know, family cookouts and stuff like that. And he was the guy that we would watch. You know, we were kids excited to watch him fight, and you know, I'll never forget whenever I talked to Lamont Sr. talking about signing with Golden Boy. You know, I was excited, and it was still kind of surreal. Like it didn't feel like it happened yet when I signed the contract. But whenever, you know, when I first met him, or whenever I met Robert Diaz and Eric Gomez and Diop, like I think that's when it started to kind of really sink in, and it's just a dream come true. But it's kind of like once you're there, like, okay, cool, like you kind of got that out of your system, like, all right, it's business from now on. So when I see him, obviously like, hey, that's boss man. But you know, it's still, you know, it's a blessing, because, you know, as a kid, we were training in our garage, and we had all these different like pictures of fighters. We had Floyd up there, Eric Morales, Barrera. And actually, whenever COVID hit, during like the whole lockdown, you know, me and my brother were training. We made a video with hitting the speed bag, and there's like a picture of Oscar right there. And, you know, George put it on Twitter, and Oscar's like, oh, that's a dope little, you know, setup and stuff. And he liked it. But that's really who we grew up, like, you know, idolizing, at least when it comes to the sport.
Right. Well, yeah, that would be your generation. And obviously, he was a good person to follow, you know, as a kid and a young fighter. And we'll wrap it up here in a few. Well, let me ask you, did you happen to see his face-off today?
I didn't even know it was today. No, I didn't even know it was today.
Okay. Yeah, they had the press conference at Staples Arena in LA, and him and Belfort faced off for the first time. So you'll have to check that out.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Did it get intense or not really?
No, I think they were both respectful, but
Okay.
probably sizing each other up a little bit.
Yeah.
But they both look to be in pretty good shape, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, Oscar looks good. He looks real, like his rhythm and everything when he's like moving, shadow boxing, mitts. It's crazy. Obviously, he's older and not as light as where he was, but his movement is still, fluid.
Yeah, your brother mentioned that as well, seeing him in his videos where he's got that distinct, kind of bounce on his toes, with his hands and everything. And
yeah,
it was interesting that he pointed that out.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Well, let me ask you this. So you're fighting again in Frisco, a stone's throw from, where you guys are from, where you live here in Dallas. What is that going to be like on Saturday, August 14th in front of all your family and friends?
I think the energy level is going to be great. I remember when I had fought at under Virgil's card in Grand Prairie, the energy was great, especially the way the setup was. All the noise was going towards the ring, but it being in Frisco, we work like 5 minutes down the street. We personally train clients down the street, teach classes, and then we live my brother lives like 10 minutes down the road. So that's literally home to us. So it's going to be great. The venue is going to be nice. People are excited. I just can't wait to perform in front of my fans and my family.
And what should we expect on that night from you?
Disciplined fighter doing the game plan. I'm out there always going to, stay disciplined, follow the game plan. I'm never going out there trying to do anything crazy. I go out there and set up what I need to set up. And I'm just going to go out there, have fun, and take care of business.
And just in closing, Alex, any shout outs, any last words for your opponent, for your fans, sponsors, anything?
I want to shout out all my sponsors. It's a long list of them, but Turbo Pizza, great. If anyone ever wants some amazing pizza in Dallas, go to Turbo Pizza in Carrollton. I got PPP Boxing, social media for boxing, Eggs and Bakery, best brunch spot in Miami. Humble Hustler is actually this hoodie I'm wearing. It's a apparel company based out in Bangkok. And I have a lot of other Puteria in Irving, World Champ Training, Performance in Plano, Southwest Networks. I have a lot to remember. Dallas Life. I'm not really I don't party like that, but it's one of my sponsors that has the clubs and stuff. So I have a lot of sponsors that I have. So if you check my social media out, check out my social media. Every post I have, especially during training camp, I hashtag their business. I tag them. And so I just want to shout out every single one. If I didn't mention you, apologize, but I have a lot of sponsors. Thank you to everyone who supports me, all my family and friends back home. We're finishing up camp strong, so I just can't wait to see y'all. Shout out to my mom, my dad, and of course, the man upstairs. Without him, nothing's possible. And to my coach, my late coach Boogaloo, who passed away in 2017. I'm always doing this for him. And he always believed in me the most out of everyone besides my family, but he's the ones always believed in me the most. So I'll always dedicate my fights to him.
That's awesome. And I can't think of a better way to end it right there. Alex Rincon's got a big fight Saturday, August 14th against Sanny Duversonne at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. With Golden Boy Promotions, streamed live on DAZN. You don't want to miss them. And wish you all the best of luck on Saturday, August 14th, Alex. And Jeff Zimmerman with FightNews.com.
Thank you. Oh, also, one more thing. Want to shout out for the Dallas Mavericks. That's how I'm dedicating my my whole outfit to. I have like my vest walking out is like a Dallas Mavericks jersey. Their city edition jersey, so it's gold and white. Have the Dirk Nowitzki number on the front and the back, and I'm dedicating this to the whole Mavericks organization.
All right. Well, we got to get Mark Cuban on board and get that thing to go viral the night of the fight. So we'll work on that.
Yeah. Well,
all right, Alex.
Jeff.
Thanks for your time and best of luck. And we'll see you in a few weeks.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you.